Iran launched new strikes at Israel overnight as President Donald Trump weighs his option on whether the U.S. will get directly involved in this conflict. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr, who's been covering politics for years now. And Alice, let's start with the new missile attacks between Israel and Iran. Do we know about what was hit and how destructive they were?
Yeah, this is a big overnight developments in this realm, Chesley, because we now know that a major hospital in the south of Israel, was among the sites that were hit overnight by Iranian airstrikes. Israel is calling that a war crime. At this point, there is no word of anyone having been killed, fortunately, in that strike, but there are a number of injuries reported and damage to that hospital, the largest one in the south. There were also strikes to areas around Tel Aviv, commercial buildings, and a number of people that had to take shelter there. Overnight as well, Israel fired at Iranian nuclear sites again. It's, of course, their mission here to destroy the Iranian nuclear program. So that was the back and forth. And after that hospital strike, Israel now says that it's going to step up its attacks on Iran even more.
Still no decision on whether the military will get action from the United States, but we understand President Trump has said he'll give Iran an ultimatum.
Yeah, he says that he has already given Iran an ultimatum, and he's making that final decision about whether the U.S. military will actually step in and fire strikes, U.S. military strikes on nuclear sites in Iran, because President Trump has said time and again that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. He had been pursuing a diplomatic path to try to get Iran to negotiate an agreement to wind down its nuclear program. But he now is signaling that the window for that diplomatic path may be closing. That's kind of the ultimatum that he is referencing, that essentially he's told Iran, I guess it's now or never, if there's going to be a diplomatic solution. And if not, he has been huddling for 2 straight days with his national security advisors and trying to figure out whether it's the right choice to go ahead with those strikes. Specifically, at hand here is one very critical nuclear enrichment site that's buried deep underneath a mountain in Iran, and it's thought that the only way to even potentially get to it, and it's not guaranteed, would be with a giant bunker-busting bomb that only the U.S. has access to.
All right. Yesterday, Alice, we talked about the growing divide between the Republicans over whether or not we should use force. Now we're learning that Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is speaking out. What side does she stand on?
She is very much against intervention, military intervention in Iran. She posted on social media that this is not the president's campaign promise to get involved in another Middle East entanglement, saying, quote, anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become fully involved in the Israel-Iran war is not America first or MAGA. And that's the divide there. You do have some in the MAGA movement who are saying another foreign entanglement like this is not America first, but there are a number of Republicans, maybe more traditional, who are arguing that it just cannot be that Iran would have a nuclear weapon. We heard from Senator Lindsey Graham that you have to say that they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and therefore, if diplomacy fails, then what's left, the other option is military.
All right, Alice Barr, I really appreciate your insight. Thanks for joining us today.